Back to Newsmaker Live. I'm Clinton Reynolds, and my special guest today is Mathiaus Polius, Vice President of the National Consumer Association, and we're discussing consumer issues. In a very short while, we'll open the lines up so that you can ask questions and also air your views on the latest development, of course, the CFL GL merger, or the takeover of GL by CFL, also the increase in the price of rice, flour and sugar, and other developments as far as consumers are concerned. Well, we're talking about CFL and GL, and I wanted to know whether the NCA has attempted to engage the principals of CFL in a discussion on that development, you know, what it would mean for consumers and what your concerns are as it relates to that activity.
No, we have not done so. That has not been discussed at the executive level.
But don't you think this is something that the NCA would be interested in doing?
Yes, we can do that, and I will take that note down as one of the issues that we can look at, having a short talk with the principals in that merger or takeover.
Now, have you ever had discussions with the major players in the supermarket industry? Because a lot of the products that are bought, the majority of them, I dare say, are in supermarkets that we use as consumers, come from supermarkets. So have you ever had a discussion with supermarket owners, the major players in the industry, as far as, you know, what consumers expect, what complaints that consumers have about the products and that sort of thing?
No. We haven't had these kind of discussions. We have not had these kind of discussions.
Now let's talk about the announcement in the recent budget of the increase in the price of rice, flour and sugar. The NCA has made some statements on it, but let's recap what the NCA's position is on that increase, the cut in subsidies on rice, flour and sugar.
Well, the NCA has not really had an issue with it, given that that subsidy for these products had been in place for over 30 years. So what it meant is that the depressed prices was actually being borne by the taxpayers of the country, all the taxpayers of the country. Granted that it was really to help the poor in order to help them have a better standard of living, in order to, and that is the main reason why the prices were subsidized by government. We are also of the view that given that such a long period, we are of the view that the prices have been, the increases have been reasonable. Of course, we also have the other aspect of it where it was made known that to help the poor absorb these increases, government increased their actual allowances to them. So we really had no real issues with these prices. We have seen other products in the supermarkets gone up substantially during the last 30 years. But rice, sugar and flour have remained the same. And we found these increases to be reasonable, and we do not have an issue with it.
But considering that this has come on the heels of VAT and other increases in other items on the island, I mean, the timing of it, was there an issue with it? Were there concerns about the timing of that increase as opposed to, you know?
That is an issue which I think ended up being discussed because of the way it was implemented. I don't think the authorities in particular expected the impact it would have had from the 1st of October. It was never meant for products in the stores to have both VAT and consumption taxes being paid What I mean is that it was never expected for goods to be double taxed. Because on the 1st of October, many of the goods you had in the stores and the supermarkets, we already had consumption tax paid on them at customs. And the imposition of the 15% tax, 15% VAT, just increased the prices by 15%. I don't think the authorities anticipated that is what was going to happen. In fairness to them, I think they tried their best in order to give adequate notice and to expect these merchants, etc., to remove as much of these goods as possible. But that didn't happen. VAT, as we all know, was supposed to be a replacement tax. But from the 1st of October, what happened, as I said, is that you had goods that went through customs, they paid consumption tax, and then you had VAT on top of it. So it looked like a double tax. So the VAT situation, it's kind of complex from how I see it. It's a complex one. Now, to go blaming VAT, as a lot of people do, for some of the prices, that is also dubious. That is also dubious. Because there is a feeling that certain people have just brought up the prices and then imposed VAT on it. So we are not sure whether some of these increases have been as a result of international imports, increases in international imports, as a result of increases in fuel prices.
But we saw a phenomenon during the implementation, or just prior to the implementation, of prices going up. And then when the VAT kicked in on October 1st, you know, VAT was blamed for the increase. I'm sure that the NCA is aware that this happened in very many businesses, that commodities, for example, products you would buy for $2 went up to $2.15, $2.30, $2.60, and sometimes even more. And then when, you know, the time came to reduce it, because the consumption tax was no longer being paid on the new stock, the prices just stayed up.
Yes. Now this is an area of concern to us in the NCA, because what, for example, many of us thought is that a lot of these merchants, had standard markups. We thought, let's say, like a lot of these merchants, they would say, like, I have a 40% markup on a range of goods, 45% on another range, 40%, etc., etc. They would have standard markups, but apparently, some of these markups went up just prior to the implementation of VAT. That is a feeling that a lot of people have.
Now, in terms of your advocacy, how strong is the advocacy of the NCA? Are you really getting the ear of the public? Are you getting the support of the public to say, okay, this is an organization that I can go to if there is an issue? This is an organization that is respected in terms of when officers of that organization speak on consumer issues.
Well, we have a few members, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. Some people only come to us when they have some difficulty, like when they have difficulty with a merchant, they call us and we try to solve the problem, moral suasion, as we say, go to the merchant with them to try and get them issue. But there is still room for a lot of improvement. But the fact that, for example, the media increasingly are asking us for our opinion and our views, and we also hear a few people call on the radio shows and say that they would like to know what the NCA is saying about certain things. It means that increasingly we are getting more and more visibility, and with that, we're hoping that more people will join. Because in overseas, the strength of the NCA as well as in St. Lucia is its numbers, and then we need the numbers in order to give us more viability.
And what is keeping you from getting more members or greater numbers?
Well, I have it is difficult to say. It is very difficult to say. I cannot say it's the membership fee, because we have a membership fee, but it's very low, of $30 a year. So I wouldn't say that is a deterrent, although some people say that. But we have really not gone into a study of why people don't want to join the NCA.
So most of your legitimacy has come from the media, and the media seeking your opinions, the media asking you to comment on stuff, and people through the media, consumers through the media saying, okay, let's see what the NCA has to say.
Yes, but to actually join us, like the president is always asking media members themselves to come and join us, and still some of them many of them have been reluctant to do so. I hope eventually they will come in and join us so that we can make the organization stronger. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about some other issues, and in particular, the Rural and Village Council report that was released during the budget presentation a few weeks ago, and the consumer aspects of it, the implication for consumers. We see, as I noted before, that everything is going up. Subsidies are being cut, but then we hear about, you know, money that is allocated for development of rural communities, of villages and stuff gone missing or used in a manner that was not what it was intended to be used for. So let's take a break on Newsmaker Live. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Mathiaus, the Vice President of the National Consumer Association, and we'll dig into that Rural and Village Council report presented in the House of Parliament just a couple of weeks ago. Stay with us.